So there was a time when the whole of Israel had only two swords, two spears. One with the king Saul and another one with his son Jonathan. Only two. The whole nation without any instrument to fight. The enemy set for them a pace to follow. I'm not talking about the children of Israel. Today's sermon is about us who are here. They used something that was very tactical to cause them to be this very weak. It was a slow-by-slow, step-by-step process that was ending up in this state. But see what happened. Verse 22. On the day of battle, now here after they made sure that the Jews never had any blacksmith, not even one spear, the Philistines arranged themselves to come and attack them. On the day of the battle, not a soldier with Saul and Jonathan. Saul was the king of the Jews, the Israelites, the Hebrews, and Jonathan was also his son. There was not a single soldier that was with Saul and Jonathan that had a sword or a spear in his hand. Only Saul and his son Jonathan had them. In the whole of Israel, this version says, on the day of battle, none of the people who were with Saul and Jonathan were armed with swords or spears. But Saul and his son Jonathan did have them. Imagine, only two people in the whole nation of Israel had swords and spears. The king and his son. And the king has 3,000 soldiers. They are all as good as nothing. No soldier had a spear or a sword. Why? The Philistines, made a long-term plan to weaken the nation of Israel. They first of all took all the blacksmiths, took them to the Philistines, and made sure when they reached there, they remained as Philistines as well. After that, they said, it's okay. We'll help sharpen your sickles, your axes, and the Philistines remained comfortable because they had people to sharpen for them. And after that, they said, we come to fight you. Do you know how many people came to fight? The Philistines who had swords and spears? In the children of Israel, they only had two spears. Only the king and his son. But see the enemies that came with swords and spears. It's in 1 Samuel chapter 3, verse 5 to 7, above there. The Philistines assembled to fight against Israel with 30,000 chariots. Chariots. Those were made by the blacksmith. 30,000 chariots. So they can run very fast. And 6,000 horsemen. And each horseman is having a sword, a spear, javelin, and arrows. And the people, these enemies, were as numerous as the sand on the seashore. The Philistines coming to fight a nation with only two swords, with only two spears. And one sword is with the king, he cannot fight. A king cannot be on the front line. Another one is his son, whom he was grooming to become a king, definitely can also not be on the front line. So, afande Yoel, oluzachicha atuka ku bantu bwe bati. The enemy set a pace for them, and they followed it, and at the end, the enemy had a big, bad plan to destroy them. And they advanced and camped in Michmash, east of Beth Aven. When the men of Israel, these were only two spears, saw 30,000 chariots, 60,000 horsemen coming with swords and spears, what do you think happened to these guys? All without a sword or spear. They're just all like this. amba babende batun simanyi nabyo bakola akuta akakoni at least those with bows and arrows waliwo bano baasikali gosanga naka nakakoni katadde wano kategeeza ki yowe kana kye kakola self defense ate ne self defense teriiwo if it was a panga owekijambi ajja kati oli asikali asigalawo nosanga banka n'omuntu agikuumye ng'ataddeko akabatoni wano ogambe no banka oba sabo. So look at what happened to the children of Israel with their 2 spears. Verse 6, when the men of Israel saw that they were in distress, for the people were in a tight spot, the Israelites, hid themselves, something that pained me, in caves, in thickets, in bushes, in crags, and what I hated the most, in tombs and in pits. They had to hide themselves in caves, in thickets, among the rocks, in pits, and in tombs. They were in so much distress. The other Hebrews ran and went across the Jordan to the land of Gad and Gilead, but Saul, who had only 1 spear, remained in Gilgal, and all the people followed him trembling. The king is in a bad state. That's when the king rushed to offer sacrifice. It was in this state that he was panicking. No sword in the whole land. Now is when that's when he remembers to think about God. And that's when Samuel said, I will come. Wait for me. And the prophet took 7 days without coming. And the king and the people are trembling like this. That's when the king saw that the prophet had delayed to come. He also hurried to offer a sacrifice when he was not supposed to. He went and got the sacrifice. He was not a priest. He was not a prophet. And he hurried to offer sacrifice the moment he was finishing to offer it like this, so that God would speak and save him. So Samuel the prophet arrived and said, what have you done? Were you supposed to offer sacrifice? The man said, I was trembling. All the people left me who were getting finished. So I offered so that God would speak to us. That is because, number one, Saul in the first case, years back, he allowed the enemies to set the pace for him. And when trouble has come, he's in panic mode. He wants to pray at the last hour. He wants to fast at the last hour. When he cannot fast, when he's not strong enough to pray. And the enemy has surrounded him already. The enemy set the pace. Brothers and sisters, this story is not for the Israelites. Saul is no longer here. These things are for us to learn from. The Bible says the things that are written are for us to learn from. The devil is every day on this mission again. Every day he has not forgotten that we are his enemies. And we are advantaged. And we are provided for. Do you remember what the devil spoke about Job? He said, see, you have blessed him. I cannot even touch him. There's a hedge of protection around him. You have surrounded him. You have favored him. The enemy knows that's who we are. What does the enemy do? Long-term strategy.